It's so much more embarrassing to do this in person. So I'm just like,
really? Why?
I don't know.
It's fun.
It's like
It feels like a real podcast.
Fair. I mean,
We
just
have to, face each other and be just
customer.
Like, oh.
I think about like customer service voice somewhere, like being upbeat and like,
hi, this is my YouTube channel.
Exactly. Well, if you're just now tuning in, guess what? We're not over Google Meets right now.
Yay! Together at last.
So, welcome to the Hey It's Sid podcast, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. And I am joined today by my amazing, beautiful, awesome best friend in the flesh today, Mackena Davis.
Oh my God, you flatter me.
We got to do the
Damn, we need to do that again.
The air horn.
I needed a cue. I need you to hit my leg or something.
Okay. What?
Start with the podcast where we talk about.
If you're just now tuning in, there's definitely going to be a blooper reel now. But welcome to the Hey It's Sid podcast, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. And I am joined by my amazing, beautiful, awesome best friend in the flesh, Mackena Davis. So that's like a nod from Two Hot Takes. So this is where I usually hold. It's just like, so we have our little sprouts as our microphones today. I brought them across the country with me. Shout out Five Below blind boxes. They kind of represent us. I didn't mean to cover your face, little guys. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be diving into the spooky, scary skeletons a little bit. Obviously, that's my aesthetic, but I've never really dove into that on the YouTube channel or the podcast before. But we're going to do that today because we are going to be talking about Colorado conspiracy theories. Because if you didn't know, me and Mackena are long-distance besties. Obviously, Mackena lives in the mountains of Colorado. So, I live in South Carolina. We have mountains, but not quite like Colorado. So I don't really know how to make that intro different, but it is what it is. Mackena actually came up with this idea, and I love it so much because as a fellow conspiracy theorist, I love it. But I do want to start this podcast out by saying, we are of sound mind. Everything is alleged in this podcast. If we go missing, that was not our intention. So,
you know who did it.
You know who did it. You know who did it if they come after us. Who said that? Not the Illuminati. Okay, but...
No.
We also have our co-host, Mackena's little man, and so if we accidentally say his name will be bleeped, and if he runs past the camera or anything, there will be blurs because we're safe on the internet over here. Okay, so I prepared, we both chose, I have 3 conspiracy theories and Mackena has 2. So we have some conspiracy theories for you guys today, and I just wrote a little blurb about it, and I will have everything linked in the description for where we got our research, so if you're interested in researching it yourself, yeah, he said hi. So if you're interested in researching it about yourself or researching it for yourself, definitely go check that out because these are just barely scratching the surface of these conspiracy theories that we're talking about today. I should be a radio host.
Yeah, you should. I agree. I keep forgetting to talk into the microphone, so I've probably
it's
lost
okay.
So much.
It still picks it up. It's just not it will be it'll you can tell it's far away type of thing.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
But it's not a huge deal. Okay, so first today...
You got it, baby.
Okay. Denver, Colorado, a city known for mountain views, craft apple juiceries, if you know, you know, and one of the most mysterious airports in America. But before travelers ever enter the terminal, they're greeted by something impossible to ignore. 32 feet tall, 9,000 pounds, glowing red eyes staring into the darkness. Locals call it Lucifer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Officially, the statue is named Blue Mustang, but nobody calls it that. To many, it's a symbol of bad luck. To conspiracy theorists, it's a warning. And to some, it's a guardian of secrets buried beneath the airport. The story begins in the 1990s when the Denver International Airport was under construction. The project was plagued with delays, budget, overrun, and rumors. Lots of rumors. It's just gonna be like a blob going across. So, welcome to the mid-dance entertainment, the mid-story entertainment of our amazing background dancers. Our amazing background dancer. singular. Okay, lots of rumors. People whispered about underground tunnels, hidden bunkers, secret societies. Some even claimed the airport was designed as a headquarters for a future world government. Most of these stories had little evidence behind them, but then came the horse. Artist, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing this artist's name incorrectly, but artist Luis Jimenez spent years creating a massive sculpture, unlike anything Denver had ever seen. The horse was painted electric blue and given glowing red eyes, inspired by his father's neon sign shop. The result was unforgettable, but what happened next transformed a public artwork into a legend. In 2006, while Jimenez was working on the sculpture, a section of the horse broke loose. A massive piece fell. The accident tragically caused the artist to pass away. Almost immediately, people began whispering. The horse had claimed its creator, and the legend of Lucifer was born. The 30-foot-2 demonic-looking horse statue was completed by Jimenez's son, along with his dedicated team of studio assistants and professional painters. Visitors arriving at the airport began sharing stories. Some said the eyes seemed to follow them. Others claimed they felt uneasy standing beneath it. At night, illuminated by headlights and moonlight, the giant horse appeared less of a piece of art and more of something watching over the plains. Then conspiracy forums got involved. According to one theory, Lucifer wasn't just a statue, it was a marker. A signal pointing toward hidden facilities beneath the airport. Online investigations connected it to airport murals, unusual architecture, and stories about underground chambers. They imagined secret meetings taking place below the runways while the horse stood guard above. Evidence? Very little. But that's the thing about mysteries. Sometimes the absence of proof becomes part of the stories. Over the years, Lucifer became something unexpected. A local celebrity, a mascot, even a meme. People bought t-shirts with its face, but that's the thing about mysteries. Sometimes the absence of proof becomes part of the story. Over the years, Lucifer became something unexpected. A local celebrity, a mascot, even a meme. People bought t-shirts with its face, tourists took selfies underneath its glowing eyes, even airport officials eventually leaned into the joke, acknowledging the strange myths that had grown around the airport. Yet, the statue remains unsettling. Maybe it's the size, maybe it's the tragic story behind its creation, or because deep down, humans have always been fascinated by things that just don't quite fit. Things that stand on the edge of the ordinary, watching, waiting, silent. So what is Lucifer really? A cursed monument? A guardian of hidden secrets? Or simply a giant blue horse with unfortunate timing and a terrifying design? The answer depends on who you ask. But one thing is certain. The next time you're driving towards Denver International Airport at night and those red eyes appear in the distance, you might find yourself wondering, what if legends are true? Okay, so you have any thoughts on the Denver or Lucifer, the horse?
I do think he's really creepy looking. I know he made the eyes red because of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
But why red?
I know.
Like, can you make them any other color to make it a little less terrifying?
Well, the research said because of a neon sign shop. So where did neon signs start out red?
I don't know. I know there are a lot of them.
Yeah,
red, but
I feel like when I think about neon signs, I think about green.
Yeah. It literally could have been any neon color. But
yeah, I know they can be like any color.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like, I mentioned this like earlier in the day that I think it just kind of symbolizes that the airport is supposedly cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you guys don't know, a couple weeks ago, a plane hit somebody on the runway.
At the time of filming this, it's
like at Denver Airport.
June 4th at 8:39 p.m. Midwest time.
Mountain Central.
Mountain Central.
I think. No, Mountain Daylight Time. Yes.
Okay.
If you haven't heard about it, yeah, I'm sure if you look up Denver Airport, it'll pop up because someone was killed on the runway. And yeah, that just furthers all the conspiracies about the airport being cursed.
Something I also forgot to mention at the beginning of the podcast when we were doing our intros, which I want to, is that we're wearing our Bistro Huddy merch. And they just came out with some new merch for Pride Month, and it's Ruby Coal. It's really cute. So if you don't know, me and Mackena bond over Bistro Huddy. And even though this episode doesn't have anything to do with the service industry, we are both service industry vets. The door just like slightly opened.
Don't scare me like that. Lord, that is not a good time to have demons up in here.
We don't claim any negative energy. But Bistro Huddy, they just came out with new merch. It's really cool. Go check it out. They're not sponsoring us at all. We just really like them. Shout out to Andrea and Drew.
We love you guys.
We do love you guys.
Never stop making videos.
Yes.
Never stop making videos.
Because you really get it right. Yeah. Okay, so
side quest right there.
Yeah, our little side quest. So on to our next story, or our next conspiracy. I'm too used to reading Reddit, so I'm like, our next story, but our next conspiracy. Oh, be careful, bud.
So our next conspiracy about Denver, Colorado is called The Ghosts of Chessman Park. I'm gonna say Chessman because Cheeseman sounds a little too ridiculous. And this episode is supposed to be spooky. So, the Ghosts of Chessman Park. It's located in Denver, and it's a park, like any old park, but it's built over a graveyard. And so the history behind it is that it was originally called Mount Prospect Cemetery, and the first person to ever be buried there was in 1858, and his name was, what was his name? John Stoffel, and he was hung for murdering his brother-in-law, and they buried in the cemetery. So not off to a great start.
Definitely
from
not.
the get-go. And so the cemetery started, people die, they get buried. That's how a graveyard works. But in 1890, the US Congress passed that the cemetery should be turned into a public park because they thought it was an eyesore. It wasn't kept up properly. It wasn't maintained at all. So they were just like, this is ugly, it needs to go. So they start turning it into a park. And the first thing they do is tell families that they need their deceased loved ones to be relocated. And so people start digging up their bodies in the graveyard.
Oh gosh, that's never good when you have to displace bodies in a graveyard.
Yeah. And so right after that, according to this article, immediately after people start digging up their loved ones' bodies and moving them, ghost encounters start happening. The people in the neighborhood surrounding the park start experiencing weird phenomena where they get knocks on the doors, they see people peering in their windows. They can't really explain it other than it's a ghost. And most of them appear docile. They're not out to get anybody. But there have been a few stories where there have been aggressive ghosts that are very upset that, one, they're dead, and two, that their home has been reconstructed. And one of the most popular stories regarding this is a ghost that goes by the name of Slackjaw. And he is a man who was killed 15 times.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he has a broken jaw, hence the name Slackjaw. And the story that gained a lot of popularity was that two men were lounging in the park. It doesn't say if it was day or evening. I would guess it would be daytime because who's hanging out in a park after dark? But
I mean, some people be crazy, bro.
Yeah, especially in a place that was once a graveyard. But these two men were lounging at the park, and this very pale, very thin man with an obviously broken jaw walks up to them. He's wearing a bloody hospital gown, and he walks up to them and asks them for a cigarette. And these men are baffled. They tell him, bro, you need to go to the hospital. Like, why are you walking around in a bloody hospital gown with a broken jaw? The ghost, Slackjaw, he refuses. He says that the last time he went to a hospital, he was thrown out because he didn't have any money. So the men insisted that he should go to the hospital, but Slackjaw said no, and that he was on a quest to find the people that killed him, the people that killed him 15 times. And that's kind of his story. The men didn't realize they were talking to a ghost until after the ghost left. He wasn't exactly angry, but he wants to find the people that killed him and enact his revenge. Anyway, so that's one of the most popular ghost stories, is the story of Slackjaw. And there are a lot of other stories surrounding the park that don't necessarily have to be, with ghosts. But there's this one guy, he was hired, when was this? Let's see. Yeah, there's this one guy, his name is Jim Astor, and he was hired to transfer bodies from the cemetery, the bodies that weren't claimed by family members when the park was being constructed. and he was stealing brass from inside the coffins to sell. The ghost didn't like that very much. He felt an icy pressure on his shoulders, which scared him so bad that he never came back to the cemetery/park. And he was convinced that an angry ghost was chastising him for his evil doing by stealing brass. But that doesn't even compare to a different story where another guy who was hired by the city to transfer bodies, he was in charge of taking the bodies and putting them into new coffins for transport. But he was paid per coffin that he transferred the bodies into. And so what he did was he took a dead body and a dead adult body and chopped it up to put it into children's caskets so he could get more money for more coffins. It said that one adult could fit into 3 children's coffins.
That's insane.
I know.
That's
like that is so messed up.
We're blind reacting to these, and that's some people are just so cruel.
But yeah, and in the process, body parts were strewn about, just like body parts that you forgot to bury. And so that angered the ghosts even more. And so now the Chessman Park is popularly known as one of the most haunted places in the state because of people who suck, pretty much. These ghosts weren't doing no harm.
That's just so vile and disrespectful. There's not like even a good word.
People just do it for the money.
You know, like corrupts. A lot of, like, I feel like I might be misspeaking when I say a lot, but, like, I know, like, H.H. Holmes started with grave robbing.
Yeah.
And stuff. I just feel like that's just one of those crimes where you just have no empathy for another human being, and that's just so crappy.
Not what makes a serial killer.
Maybe the ghosts were haunting him so he wouldn't become a serial killer.
Yeah.
Trying to make him repent for his bad ways and
the
extreme disrespect. Guys. In that case, they definitely are, because I would also be mad. I mean, imagine you're in your final resting place and you're already having to be moved because of the city. I forgot what I was saying. But oh yeah, like if I was a ghost and I was already having to be moved, and my final resting place was already having to be moved by the city, and somebody was taking my body parts. But somebody was taking my body parts and slinging them across other graves. Other graves. Would you like to say something? We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Would you like to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
We've been trying to reach you. Would you like to provide a comment, sir? Would you like to provide a comment? Now you're being quiet when we're asking you to comment?
Please, sir. We need to know your side.
What is your side about the ghost being, or the graves being displaced by corrupted men?
I thought he was about to scream.
I did too.
He's not taking comments though this time, thank you.
I feel like baby's laughter is the most pure thing. This is such a spooky episode, and we're talking about such spooky things, and then spooky. I can't talk, obviously.
That's what I'm
Family friendly channel.
My bad, take it out completely.
I did figure out how to blur words completely, or like bleep words completely without so great timing. But I feel like we're talking about such dark conspiracy theories and just ghost stories, the spooky, scary skeletons of Colorado, and we've just got little man laughing in the background. Maybe it makes it a little bit creepier, I don't know. But he is obviously enjoying himself, and I'm glad he is.
This episode is going to be like an hour long. Most of them are.
We'll usually film for like an hour and a half, and I'll take about that much out. Our last one was only 52 minutes, though.
Yeah.
But we didn't film for as long because I also wanted to catch up. Okay, so our next story, we're moving on from ghosts. Our next story, we're going to move on to something a little bit otherworldly. Southern Colorado, a landscape so strange that it almost feels impossible. Towering walls of sand rise from the valley floor, baked with snow-covered mountains. Some dunes stand taller than skyscrapers. Millions of visitors come to see them every year, most leave believing they're one of... I can't read, bro. My eyes are starting to go cross-eyed, I swear. Millions of visitors come to see them every year. Most leave believing they visited one of nature's greatest wonders. But in 1967, according to a little-known rumor, someone else was interested in the dunes. The CIA. This Colorado conspiracy begins with a document, or perhaps more accurately, a document that may have never existed. So this conspiracy is just based off of a rumor, guys. But I did find it very interesting. That's why we're reading it right now. So, the rumor first appeared decades after the Cold War. According to a declassified report dated October 1967, described unusual activity in and around the Great Sand Dunes. The alleged report carried the cryptic title, Geo Abnormalities in the Atmosphere Disturbances, San Luis Valley Sector. No official copy had ever surfaced, no archives list, no historian can verify it, yet the legend persists. Why? Because the details are so strange. According to conspiracy, researchers, military aircrafts flying over the dunes occasionally reported compass malfunctions. Pilots described instruments drifting without explanation. Radio signals allegedly faded in and out. One unverified account, not verified, we're not verified. One unverified, everything's alleged. Please, everything's alleged. Disclaimer. We are just girls. We're just girls.
We just ate chicken nuggets and mac and cheese for dinner.
We did, girl dinner. So, if this episode comes out before my Colorado vlog or multiple Colorado vlogs, you'll see that.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. One unverified account claimed an Air Force survey plane photographed a series of perfect circles hidden among the dunes. The circles vanished when investigators returned days later. Were these shifting sands, optical illusions, or something else? No one really knows, but that's only where the story begins. The San Luis Valley had long been associated with strange UFO reports. The San Luis Valley had long been associated with strange reports. UFO sightings, unusual lights, mysterious sounds echoing across the desert at night. Most can be explained, some cannot. In the legend of the CIA report, analysts supposedly became interested after receiving multiple reports from government survey teams. The dunes, they claimed, sat above an unusual geographical structure. The formation capable of affecting magnetic readings. The report allegedly concluded that further investigation was necessary. Then the trail ends. No follow-up report, no public examination, nothing. Just silence. In the years that follow, the mystery expanded. Some tourists suggest the dunes are a concealed abandoned military installation. Others claimed satellites detected underground chambers. The most extreme version of the story insists that the dunes were chosen as a monitoring site because something entered our atmosphere over southern Colorado in the 1960s. Again, there's no evidence. No photographs, no witnesses willing to step forward, only stories, and the stories have a way of growing. Then came the strangest detail of all. A former park employee reportedly told researchers that certain areas of the dunes seemed to move differently than expected. Not because of the wind, not because of the weather, but entire sections appeared to shift overnight. More than just what physics would allow. After all, the dunes are consistently moving because they are sand, so that makes sense, but I am an art teacher. Science. I liked science in elementary school, but then when they started adding math, that's when I got upset. That's when my grades were like, no, you're not good at science, queen. Today's visitors climb the dunes, slide down their slopes, and watch the sunsets paint the sand gold and red. Most never think about the government reports. Most never wonder whether intelligence agencies once studied a valley. Yet, the darkness falls and the wind begins to move across the dunes, creating low haunting sounds as called singing sands. It's easy to understand how mysteries begin. A strange sound, an unexpected light, a missing document, a forgotten rumor, and suddenly an ordinary place becomes the center of conspiracy. So there was never a CIA report about the Great Sand Dunes. Probably not. But at least no evidence has ever surfaced, but somewhere between the fact and folklore, the legend lives on, buried beneath millions and tons of shifting sand, waiting for the next curious traveler to ask, what if there were really aliens underneath the surface? Do you believe
Incredible.
in aliens?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm sure if I did enough research or watched one singular documentary about aliens, I'd be just like, yep, they're real. But currently, no, I do not.
So, do you remember when the U.S. government said that there were aliens, and then like Mexico came out with an alien body? Do you remember all that?
No.
No. Well, I think that allegedly, I think that they thought we were going to have a much bigger reaction about it, but considering you don't even know that, it was like a whole press conference. I'll have to show you after we're done with this podcast.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm sure that they have some really sketchy stuff in Area 51, but
allegedly.
didn't hear from me.
Do you remember when they stormed Area 51?
Oh yeah. And it was a whole trend and people
Allegedly. The YouTuber Reckless Ben actually went to that, and I remember watching his video about it, and now he's unearthing the corruption in the, what is it? Bricks and minifigs. That's what it is. I think that's what I think. I could be wrong. What the store is called with that, all that corruption. So that's this episode's gonna come out in July. So hopefully we'll have like a conclusion, and then the family is gonna get their Legos back. But I've been concerned about this all day. But he's actually one of the people that like went and stormed Area 51, but they like stopped them at the gates. They were like, if you come through these gates, we will take force. And they like Naruto ran up to the gates and just stopped.
Cringe.
Very. And then there's a really good documentary about it on Netflix actually. Because they ended up throwing a music festival instead.
At Area 51?
There was a ranch where the guy who wrote the original, I think it was on Facebook post, and I'm taking this like barely remembering this, watching the documentary like a year ago. The guy who originally made the post ended up like making a deal with like a ranch out there and said that they were going to do a music festival, but then they couldn't get like the right permits, and they were really nervous about how it was going to be like a safety concern, and so they ended up having a music festival in Las Vegas, but he kind of screwed the woman who offered her ranch out of some money, so she ended up having her own music festival the same day that he had the music festival in Las Vegas that was raiding Area 51. So it's a very interesting watch, but it really didn't turn out to be nothing. But I know that's like, it's a tangent, but not really. It's just,
yeah.
The crazy things that, how you were in high school when that happened, right? I was a freshman in college. I remember thinking, I was like, man, this is it. This is crazy. And
this is it, the end of the human race.
Really, like, well, at that time I was really big into conspiracy theories, and I loved Shane Dawson's videos before he got canceled. And I really didn't watch him other than his conspiracy theory videos, so I didn't really even see that he had been doing some things, but we do not support Shane Dawson over here. We don't. That was my bad for, I guess, only watching his conspiracy theory videos, but I used to really enjoy those, and at the time I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I can't believe people are actually doing this, and I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it was, but it really wasn't. Because I remember that day I was like, I'm going to tune into the live stream. It was worth a shot, but... Okay, so McKenna doesn't think aliens exist. I do think they exist. So, but I don't know if they... I guess this is how... I believe that they exist in the form of, like, you can't tell me there's not, like, living amoebas out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I saw somewhere that they had found, like, because an amoeba is a living thing. I just feel like there's got to be bacteria or something on other planets that is alive and it does exist. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I fully believe in humanoid, actual, like, intelligent beings, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I would like to think they exist, and I would like to think that they are not scary and that they don't want to hurt us. I'd like to think that. And the universe is so vast, I feel like anything could definitely happen, but...
I saw something online that said that, like, millions of light years away, there's a planet that's very similar to Earth and sustainable of life. Mm-hmm. Is that true? I don't know. Do I believe it? Not really. But it's quite possible, I think.
I think it's a cool idea to think about.
Like, there's gotta be other solar systems, right?
There are.
One.
Yeah, I mean, there are, like, we're the Milky Way. There's other galaxies and stuff.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's aliens in this solar system.
Yeah.
If they're here.
Yeah.
Unless they're, like, amoebas or something. I feel like all of the science geeks on the other side of the screen are like, of course there's
What are
amoebas
they talking
everywhere.
about?
I kind of want to segue, because I thought about something when we were doing that. I kind of just thought, and I'm going to have to be, like, pretty vague about these details because it could be very simple for somebody to figure out who I'm talking about. But I don't know if you know where I'm going with this because we're talking about aliens. Mackena knows this story. Mackena knows this story really well. It's one of my favorite stories from working in the service industry. So I guess with Bistro Huddy, we are kind of talking about the service industry.
Somehow.
We have to. And
we'll make up any excuse to talk about Bistro Huddy.
Really, but at the place that me and Mackena met at, it was, I think this happened before you started because it was only like maybe a few weeks to a month in my time of actually being a server, because at our restaurant you have to start off as a host. And so I'm going to have to be strategic about this because it's again fairly simple to figure out who I'm talking about by like Google search. There was a celebrity that came into the restaurant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That guy. We love that guy over here. He's actually a really great person and very nice. It treats our staff very well, but I don't want to call him out. But he sat at a two-top table by himself, and I wish I brought it, but there used to be a restaurant in Spartanburg called Spaced Out Pizzeria, and it's since closed, but they sold guitar picks with their logo on it, and their logo was an alien because it was Spaced Out Pizza. I do miss Spaced Out Pizza, so rest in peace, Spaced Out Pizza. It was so good. But unfortunately, it does not exist anymore. I really liked the guitar pick, and I have a guitar pick necklace where you can take the picks in and out, and I had that one on the front of my shirt that day. But this celebrity, he came and sat at a two-top. I didn't know who he was. I had never seen him before, didn't know anything about him, didn't know he was a celebrity, but he saw my necklace and was like, oh my gosh, do you believe in aliens? I was like, yeah, I believe in aliens. I think the possibility of them exist. And he's like, okay, got super serious with me. Granted, we were very, 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 very busy at the time too, so I didn't really have much time to stand and talk to him, so I was kind of starting to get stressed. But he's like, got super serious and said, I feel like I can trust you. And I was like, okay.
That's not a great start.
I know. I was like, this is crazy. But he ended up telling me about how he got abducted by aliens, went into the different races of aliens. So if you've been on the conspiracy side of the internet, you probably know about the different races of aliens, how there's gray aliens and red aliens, and one of them is supposed to be more aggressive than the other, and it all ties into crop circles and things that I used to be like really into watching on YouTube. I would go on deep rabbit holes about different types of aliens and crop circles. I just thought it was really interesting, and I still do, but just I haven't watched a lot of those videos as much anymore. He was going into all of that and told me that they gave him like telepathy power so that every night at 11:11, if he thought about them, they would know he was thinking about them, and it was like a connection that they had, and that they chose him because he was the right person to experiment, but they experimented on him, but without any needles. They did it all through telepathy, so it didn't hurt him, and that he was perfectly fine, and they brought him back to Earth. And I was just like, this is crazy. And I mean, he could have been abducted by aliens. I don't know.
He could have been wildly high on
that too. I was thinking that. I was just like, and I'm gonna bleep out some of those words and stuff, but I'm bleeping out my words too. I was thinking, I'm like, what kind of drugs are you on? And can I have some? Just kidding. I don't do that. Don't do that, kids. Don't do drugs. Nugs, not drugs. He ended up giving me his card, and he was like, here's my card. I'm giving this to you so you know that I'm the real deal. And I was thinking, I'm like, great. I just found my new favorite YouTuber conspiracy theorist. This is amazing. And I ended up telling my manager, I was like, hey, this guy just told me about how he was abducted by aliens. It was like a crazy story. And my manager was like, oh yeah, that guy, said his name. And I was like, you know him? And he was like, just look him up. He's kind of famous. I'm not going to say why he's famous. I'm not going to say where he's from. I'm not going to say anything about him because it would be pretty easy to figure out who that was. So just know that a celebrity came into our restaurant one time and was very nice to us. But he did tell me about his time getting abducted by aliens. And I do think that was
I have a memory of him sitting at the bar, and both of us, you like recognize him.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen him for years. I hadn't seen him in years since that had happened. That's what.
So you were like,
I
oh
was
my
like, I
gosh,
think
we
that's
should
the
go
guy.
over. We should go over and like be really like fans.
Yeah,
Be
we
just
did.
Like, oh my god, that guy.
We did take a picture with him.
We did, yeah. And he was. I think he was very happy that he had like fans gushing over him, even though I had no idea who he was.
See, I
didn't know why he was famous.
Well, the thing is, I went home and I told my dad that story, and he knew who I was talking about.
We didn't call your dad, right?
No. What do you mean didn't call my dad?
Like, we didn't, like, tell your dad, like, or send him the picture?
We did send him the picture.
Okay, yeah.
But my dad knew who he was. I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Because my dad knew who he was. Our manager, that was, I'll redact it, it was knew who he was.
But, mood ruined.
Yeah, that manager was rough. If you follow me on TikTok and you know my drawing server story, that was the manager that didn't want me to leave when my now ex-boyfriend but current boyfriend at the time got it. When my ex-boyfriend but was current boyfriend at the time got a traumatic brain injury, he wouldn't let me leave the restaurant to see him until our other manager like stepped in. So that was that manager. That manager did recognize him. Like I said, this guy's not problematic at all, really. Like I said,
so
the few times he has been in a restaurant, he usually only sat at the that one time he told me that he was sitting at a table. But the times I have seen him, that is another reason I just said the one time he came in to eat. The other times I have seen him at the park, he offered for me and Kevin to be in a music video and then never followed up on it though, and I was kind of disappointed.
Oh my god, I remember that. And they were supposed to come and film, right?
I don't know if they wanted to film at the store or if he just wanted some of us to come in, but maybe. I don't quite remember.
I have a vague memory, and it might have been something else, like someone wanting to shoot a commercial or something at the restaurant.
There was a person who wanted to come shoot a commercial. I remember that because they asked if they could. I'll redact that too. They asked their other manager, they asked if it was like a random guy asked if they could film a commercial or something for some kind of like,
and we got all
Spartanburg
excited.
Eats. And I was like, can I serve him? I want to be on TV. I was like so excited about it. And she was just like, yeah, you can. And they were supposed to come in like on a Friday, and I always work on Fridays.
Crickets.
And they did not show up. But I mean, bringing it up, Kevin said that one time, because he worked at I know we've mentioned this in a podcast before, but he worked at one of our sister locations before he started working at our location. He said that they filmed a dating show episode at his restaurant, but I don't remember what the show was. If I did, I wouldn't say it anyway, in risk of them finding the
heartbreak. Who is she gonna choose?
Could you imagine? But it was at the Greenville location.
Oh, I said.
It's okay. Redacted all of the bleeps. You cussed like twice in the video. The rest of the things are just going to be redacted because I think you said so. That's the third cuss, but nah, it's fine. There's a reason for the bleep button. I kind of like putting the bleeps in. It's kind of funny. It's just like
it just adds to it.
It does add to it. He said that they filmed like a scene where she was storming out of the restaurant like 5 times. I'll have to ask him about it again to see the details. Maybe I can get him back on a podcast. We need to do like another server adjacent episode, and I'll see if he can tell that story because I don't quite remember the details. I just remember him telling me about it. That would be crazy.
Side rant on top of a side rant.
That's what this is for.
Where we talk about anything and everything.
The podcast where we talk about anything and everything. That's just so I don't have to stay like my episodes can be about whatever I want.
That's so valid.
I don't have to have a niche if everything is my niche. Okay, but what were you gonna say? Sorry, we completely because you said sidetrack or you said side tangent on the side tangent.
I was referring to the side tangent that we just went on.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, but that was that story about aliens. So we love the aliens. Maybe in the rest of my time in Colorado, maybe we'll see a UFO. I did say a plane was shaped like a UFO when we were driving to your apartment yesterday. And I mean, I will be back at some point, I'm sure. So maybe in my future times, if not this time, if we don't find a UFO this time, maybe next time we'll just take the podcast and we'll go alien hunting. Just kidding. I don't want to do that. That actually sounds really scary. So probably not.
My husband being in the military.
Yeah, probably not.
He'll be thrown out. So our next topic of discussion, our next conspiracy theory, if you will, this is probably one of Denver's biggest conspiracies, and of course, again,
and we mentioned it a little bit when we were talking about Lucifer.
Yes. So Denver Airport is widely known to have tunnels running under the airport. Now, this is a fact. It's not really a secret or anything, but nobody really knows why they're there, which is where all the conspiracies come from. So the airport, the city, whatever authority is in charge of public affairs. They claim that the tunnels are just there for, alternate transport and for the come and go of just traffic, packages, luggage, just things to keep the airport running smoothly. That's what they say is there. And they're planning on converting the tunnels into an alternate passageway for passengers so they can just get to A and B without having to ride the train. Does that make a lot of sense? Not really. But we carry on. So a lot of the conspiracies are just speculating what these tunnels are for. Some people claim that the tunnels are for official CIA/Illuminati/government business. Others claim that the tunnels, they stretch 100 miles under Denver and under Colorado all the way.
He's a secret government agent. They don't
Yeah,
want us
he
to
had to
talk
bleep
about.
that
They
out
don't want
for
to.
me.
They don't want to talk. They don't want us to talk about this. Isn't that right? Do you care to comment? No, you just want to play with the microphone, plushie. Every time we ask him for a comment, he just refuses. He pleads the fifth.
He doesn't want to be on record.
He pleads the fifth. Okay, continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. So, a lot of people claim that the tunnels stretch way outside the airport, way outside of even Denver, and they stretch 100 miles under the state all the way to Colorado Springs, which, if people don't know how Colorado's set up, that's to the south. That's down to New Mexico, down that way. It's not in New Mexico, but it's down south, as I said. That also hasn't been confirmed. That's a stretch, if you will. I don't believe that tunnels can reach 100 miles. I feel like that would be a really hard thing to accomplish for no reason. But people have said that because there is some kind of base. It's the North American Aerospace Defense Command in Colorado Springs. So they believe that secret societies, not so secret societies like the CIA, use that tunnel for unmentioned businesses. I feel like that's something that's gonna get me disappeared off the face of the earth.
It's something that's gonna disappear me.
Yes. But
for the 20th time, everything is alleged.
I'm reading from an article, and that article will be posted
in the description.
Credited. So these are not my words specifically for any FBI agent watching. Anyway, on to something a little bit more interesting. Like sweat starts pouring down my face, like that one Key and Pele meme where he's like, sweating.
Yes.
Anyway, on to more interesting things regarding the tunnels. Some people believe that the tunnels under the airport are home to extraterrestrial beings.
Back to the aliens.
But this says that people believe there are lizard people living in there.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about lizard people conspiracy theories,
Lizard people. And so that's quite interesting. I don't really know where that comes from, that conspiracy, or why people believe it's specifically lizard people instead of other kind of
I forgot about that. Do you remember? I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I just thought.
You're fine.
Do you remember?
No.
Okay, we had a brief intermission. But do you remember? And again, this might just be me. Care to comment?
You have to say for yourself.
You can't eat the microphone, man. That's not food. Do you remember when everybody said there were like celebrities that were lizard people and lizard people were going to take over the world, and it like was specifically like creators like Katy Perry, and that clip where her eyes were like weird.
Yeah.
And there's been other ones, but I remember Katy Perry off the top of my head. I don't remember the other ones at the moment, but I might put some like video clips in here if I can find any
Yeah.
that are free to use. But that's what I always think about the lizard people. I'm like Katy Perry, or that they're like the lizard people are actually everybody in the government is a lizard people.
Yeah.
Or everybody in the government is a lizard people. Everybody in the government are lizard people. Yeah, that was the right grammar. My bad. But again, alleged. But I didn't even know that was connected to the Denver airport.
Bouncing off of that, some people also believe that those tunnels are home to what they say are murderous doppelgangers.
Like us.
Yes, us, but honed to survive the apocalypse. That is most definitely coming. It's that girl at work that looks suspiciously like you.
Girl, stop!
JK.
For context, we just had a new employee start at and she does favor me. We could be cousins. Not twin. We could be sisters. Maybe not twins, but could be sisters. Maybe that's like I've always heard the conspiracy theory that like a lot of movies are actually based off real things.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what us is.
That's exactly what this article mentions is. It says others suggest the underground layer may be home to something supernatural like extraterrestrial beings or lizard people. After Jordan Peele's 2019 horror film Us premiered, some even posited that the tunnels beneath the airport could house a community of murderous doppelgangers ready to rise out from under the earth and take over the surface.
That's terrifying. I love his movies. I actually just watched Nope the other day for the first time. That's really interesting that they came out with that conspiracy, though.
Yeah. Like, people, they reach into the depths of their brains to grab that stuff, because
like there's like not much evidence for like the evil doppelganger thing, but that movie was stressful. I will say he's a great director. And I was saying before we had our like little brief interruption or a brief intermission, not interruption, but I would just watched his movie Nope, so maybe Jordan's got it figured out. Maybe he actually knows the secrets of the universe. That's how the aliens are. Have you seen Nope?
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it then. But
those are not my kind of movies. Yeah.
Well, then do you care if I spoil it?
No.
Maybe the aliens look like hot air balloons. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Me and my mom were watching it and we were like, is that what the alien's supposed to look like? And it just looked like a hot air balloon that had busted, basically.
The aliens look like that?
The entity that was eating people, basically, in the movie.
Looks like a busted hot air balloon?
Yeah, it was.
So just like a pile of fabric?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll find a picture. In Nope. That's what it looked like.
Okay. Yeah, I can totally see the busted hot air balloon. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, and
I feel, for some reason, that feels almost more realistic than an alien that is like humanoid.
Yeah, I agree. To where it's more just like a being.
Yeah, like just something else that was alive, because I think people made up aliens.
Little man accidentally stopped the recording, but you were saying you think people just made up.
Yeah, I think like just to explain something or to make it feel real, they made him look more human, but I feel like if aliens were actually real, they wouldn't be all that humanoid.
Definitely not. You think they would look like the typical green alien with the giant black eyes and the giant head? I wonder where that idea came from.
Yeah.
So it had to come from somewhere, right? But I'm also the type of person that I feel like dragons existed. And I think it's kind of crazy to say that a mermaid adjacent creature couldn't exist, because the ocean's so big. So I'm like, you can't tell me that there's not a fish with arms out there.
For real.
Considering we've only discovered like 10% of the ocean. I'm not talking about Ariel.
Yeah, and that makes me sad. When I was younger, I grew up living on a lake. And so I truly believed there were mermaids like in the world, but specifically living in my lake. And so
they just didn't want you to see them because they knew you'd expose them.
And I really wanted to be a mermaid so bad. And I think that mermaids, like, it's very believable to me.
It is!
For mermaids, but
Or you could be Christopher
in a,
Columbus.
for real. But more in a siren type of way instead of a mermaid. Like, because unfortunately, the idea of a beautiful mermaid with silky hair and a perfect body, fish and human, is just not that realistic. But if you think about, like, what a siren might look like, with webbed fingers and gills on the side of their face, things like that.
Because, you know, a lot of people think, like, aliens come from the ocean, too.
Yeah.
Or that they're, like, maybe like an Atlantis situation down there.
Yeah.
In the comments, let me know. Do you guys think mermaids are real or not? If you say no, I don't believe you. Because, again, a fish with arms is... Like, even if it's just, again, just a fish with arms that could have confused sailors back in the day. Or if it's something that's extinct. Do you know what the Meg is? Do you think the Megalodon still exists?
Do I think it still exists? No. But do I think it exists at some point?
Well, it did exist at some point. They are for certain of that. But like... They said it's extinct.
I don't think it still exists. I actually watched a documentary, like, surrounding the possibility of the Megalodon still existing. And they made a lot of really good points in it because the ocean's environment has changed so fast. And so if you think about, like, this is one of the points that they talked about, is that if you think about, like, how big whales are today, if the Megalodon still exists, they wouldn't be that big because they evolved that way because they had no natural predators anymore. And a whale wouldn't be able to escape a megalodon. Like, they just wouldn't be fast enough, and whales would obviously be what a megalodon would feed on most of the time. And so if you think about it, like, whales evolved to be so big because nothing's hunting them anymore. That was just one of their points. They made a lot of...
No, I think that's a great point. I think that's a great point. I'd like to think they still exist just out of the pure fascination of it. And I have a Meg tooth, and it's like one of my prized possessions.
And the movie The Meg, incredible. I love it. The second Meg,
meh. Did you see...
That was hard to watch.
Did you see The Black Demon? That was another Megalodon movie that came out, but it was more under the radar. I think it's on Tubi. I could be wrong. It was pretty good, though.
I haven't watched it yet.
And
don't spoil that one.
I won't. It's pretty good. It's called The Black Demon. You should definitely check it out. Maybe we can watch it if we have time. This remainder of my trip here. I don't know. We got on that whole tangent. We still have one more conspiracy.
Thanks to everybody still sticking around.
I know.
So it's gonna be a long episode.
Hey, that's okay.
All we like to do is yap around here.
We gotta read this one fast because my computer's on low battery. Okay, our last conspiracy. Dun dun dun.
He's like, what? What is happening?
The man was too stunned to speak. Okay. So we're getting away from aliens again and maybe going on to the more ghostly side. So again, we do not claim any negative energy here. Nestled at the edge of the Rocky Mountains, surrounded by towering peaks and endless forests, stands one of America's most famous hotels. So you might know where I'm going with this one. And according to many who've stayed here, haunted hotels. This is the story of the Stanley Hotel. Now, some of you may have heard of this hotel because of Stephen King's book, later turned into the movie, The Shining. In the year 1903, a wealthy inventor named F.O. Stanley arrived in Colorado suffering from tuberculosis. At the time, doctors gave him little hope, but something unexpected happened. The clean mountain air seemed to restore his health. And this is another side tangent. I remember, do you know what the Waltons are? It's like an oldie show, and I remember that she got really sick and they sent her to Colorado to fix her because the air was supposed to be so much more pure or something.
It might be pure, but it's dry as heck.
It is dry.
My fingers crack every winter.
Oh no.
I say that like I haven't lived here for like 6 months, but...
Your fingers cracked one winter. For one singular winter.
One singular week in February.
One singular week. My poor bones and my fingers, they're cracking. My bones.
Hey.
What's he got? Oh. The clean mountain air seemed to restore his health. Inspired by his recovery and captivated by the beauty of the region, Stanley decided to build a luxury hotel unlike anything the frontier had ever seen. In 1909, the Stanley opened its doors. Guests arrived by horse-drawn carriage, crystal chandeliers illuminated the grand hall, the wealthy and powerful traveled across the country to experience luxury in the wilderness. By all accounts, the hotel was a successful, but over the decades, strange stories began to emerge. Stories that refused to disappear. One of the most famous legends centers around room 217. In 1911, a powerful storm knocked out the electricity through the hotel. A housekeeper named Elizabeth Wilson entered the room 217 carrying a lantern. Unbeknownst to her, a gas leak had filled the room. Moments later, an explosion ripped through the building. Wilson survived, but barely. Years later, a guest began reporting unusual experiences in room 217. Luggage unpacking itself, objects moving, lights turning on and off. Some claimed they felt a presence of a woman watching over the room, a friendly presence, however, protective. Many believed that it was Elizabeth Wilson herself. But room 217 isn't the only place where strange things happened. Guests have reported hearing children laughing in empty hallways, visitors describing footsteps pacing above them despite vacant floors. Security staff have occasionally responded to reports of noises only to find deserted corridors. Then there's the grand staircase. Some photographs taken over the years appear to show shadowy figures standing on the steps. Skeptics argue that these are tricks of light. Believers disagree. The Stanley Hotel's reputation exploded in the 1970s when a struggling writer checked into room 217 during a quiet autumn evening. His name was Stephen King. At the time, the hotel was prepping to close for the season. King and his wife found themselves among the remaining few guests. Nearly empty hallways and the silence, and my computer died. Okay. So, since my computer died,
Oh my gosh. Stanley Hotel is in Estes Park.
I don't know what Estes Park is.
That's where we went with my dad and saw those elk. It's a whole town up there.
Oh yeah, cool. I didn't know that. It's only like an hour and a half away from here.
Yeah, it is.
So one time coming up here, we're gonna have to go look at it. I'm sorry, my writing died because my computer died. But basically, the end of it, Stephen King wrote his novel based on his stay, and obviously, the book is a very, very creative reenactment of the not reenactment. That's why I'm not good at explaining. That's why I like to read things off of my computer. Obviously, everything that happened in the movie has not happened in the hotel, but it was an inspiration, and that's why it's famous now because of Stephen King's book, The Shining. And I had mentioned that at the beginning.
Yes, he has very many opinions on this topic.
And I had mentioned that at the beginning, so I think that's really cool. I didn't realize until I was looking up conspiracy theories in preparation for this podcast that the Stanley Hotel was in Colorado. So I think that's really cool because it is really like a horror icon. Stephen King is the horror icon of books, of like horror series and books in general. Is he problematic? Definitely. And so I have actually never read a single Stephen King book, but I have heard of some of the things he's put in his books, and I don't think they're okay.
On the drive here from South Carolina to Colorado, my husband and I were listening to one of his books on audiobook. It's the book called Misery.
Oh, I love that movie. I need to read that book for sure.
We haven't watched the movie, but we listened to the majority of the book, but we had to stop towards the end. Should I spoil it or not?
You can. I've seen the movie. Okay. So
we had to stop towards the end where she takes like a hammer or something to his knees.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't listen to that part anymore.
It got too graphic for you.
Yeah. It got too graphic for Marcus, actually. He was just like, I feel it in my bones right now. So we had to stop. And we didn't even know there was a movie yet, but we're not going to watch it because if the book made us sick, the movie wouldn't really make us sick.
Not terrible.
It's not like horror like The Shining is, or It, or
it's a stalker story.
Like yeah.
Kathy Bates is in it. She plays the stalker.
Yeah.
You know?
And the author guy, I know the actor that plays him. I don't know what his name is. Like, I recognize the actor that plays him.
But yeah, Misery. I just like, I know Stephen King is a horror icon, but I know there's been a lot of controversial about the things he's written about children, especially in It. And I haven't read It, but I think that sometimes he definitely does take it too far.
Yeah.
Just based on what I've heard. But I guess I would need to read the book for myself to find out. But again, I do think like the things that I've heard from other people who have read the book, I think that some things are taken a little bit too far.
Yeah.
But I know there's that horror book that was really popular a few years ago called Playground that I remember everybody was talking about how that was like a really, really graphic book. And some people were like, let's turn it into a movie. And everybody's like, why would you turn this into a movie? That sounds awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stanley Hotel. That's our last one in Colorado. And we're going to finish the rest of our trip, hopefully conspiracy theory free. Everything in this podcast was alleged. We are of sound mind and do not plan on harming ourselves or going missing in the future. So that's the second time I've said that. So if something happens, you know why. Ooh. You got anything else you want to add to our conspiracy theory podcast episode? Girl,
we're gonna have to go finish watching
We're
Bluey.
Gonna have to go watch Bluey now.
Yes, and that was on for us, not him. Just to preface that.
It definitely was.
But
he only likes the theme song, apparently.
Shout out to Bluey. What a great show. Never stop making episodes.
I wish Bluey was a thing when we were kids.
Yeah, me too.
I would have ate that up. Definitely so.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess that's coming to our natural conclusion. So, guys,
take it away.
This has been the Hey It's Sid podcast, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. And I finally got Mackena in person for an episode. Shout out to Bistro Huddy for like the third time of this episode. We love you, Bistro Huddy.
Make more merch.
Make more merch. We love the Ruby Cole merch. You guys could commission me.
Well, there's an idea.
I mean, again, my one of my goals is to have the creators of Bistro Huddy on this podcast one day, so every little bit helps, guys. So keep those views coming. Watch till the end of the video if you can, even if it's not all right away, because I know the podcast episodes are a lot longer than my regular episodes, but try to watch the rest of it eventually. Like that like button, subscribe, press the subscribe button. I remember YouTubers back in the day used to say smash that subscribe button. So thank you guys for watching, and again, subscribe so you never miss my next adventure. Podcast episodes come out on the first Monday of the month. I am planning on making a podcast studio place where I can film when I move, so I'll hopefully be able to post some more, but main episode's going to come out first Monday of the month, but then I might have some bonus episodes thrown in there every now and then for you, which will be fun. So those will be a surprise when they come out. But yeah, thanks for watching.